Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into what it means to ignore your inner child, the effects it has on you if you ignore your inner child, and what healing it looks like to me. Let's get this out of the way. This is a new channel, so any type of like, comment, or subscription absolutely means the world. And if you have any questions, definitely leave them below and I will do my best to answer them. Now that that's out of the way, let's dive in. First things first, I have two objects here, and you're probably wondering what they are. I'll dive into it a little bit later in the video. But ignoring your inner child, at least in my eyes, is when you feel the need to grow up to please other people in certain ways, shapes, or forms. Or ignoring the inner child is things that used to bother you. Again, I'm not a professional. This is just my opinion and what I've noticed. Things that used to bother you or things that upset you or triggered you as a child, just shoving them deep down inside when you are an adult and thinking that will fix it. That's what ignoring the inner child means to me. What healing that looks like, well, let's not dive into the healing part yet. The effect of ignoring the inner child could be like tenfold. In my experience, the biggest things that I have noticed in my life when I ignore the inner child is that I reach a severe amount of, or a severe level of burnout. And what I mean by that is when I ignore the things that made me happy as a kid, or I ignore the things that bothered me as a kid that still bother me as an adult, I basically deplete all of my energy and I neglect the things that keep me rejuvenated and youthful. For example, and this leads into the healing part, I have and have always had a guilty pleasure, and I shouldn't even call it guilty, for Legos. I am an engineer. Ever since I was a kid, I would play with Kinects, I would play with Legos, I would play with Mega Blocks, I think they were called. And as I grew up, I just fell out of touch with it because of time, or I dated someone for a brief period that basically said me building Lego sets was childish and that I was a grown man and I needed to stop. Granted, there's a time and a place for it. If you're building Legos every single day and you're not chasing after what you want to be chasing after or what you should be chasing after as an adult or a man or a woman, it becomes a bit of an issue. But there's times where you should be able to take a step back and maybe build a Lego set, and that's what I did. And it is the first time that I have done this in years. I have never bought a set like this in my entire life, and I'm pretty damn happy that I did. This is the Koenigsegg Sadir Spear. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it is one of their Technic sets, and it is a car model. As you can see right here, I am working on the internals of the car. So if you flip it over, there's a transmission in there. You have front axles that are controlled by a steering wheel. If you spin it, the wheels move. You have a working suspension in the front and obviously in the back. And yeah, that's basically the internals of the car. Oh, you have the engine back here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but when the wheels spin, the engine pumps and it actually works. So that's pretty dang cool if you ask me. Um, and what I've noticed since I spent the money on this and the time to actually build this is I'm allowing myself to do the things that I used to enjoy as a kid that made me feel youthful and lighthearted. And it's carrying over into other areas of my life. Since I'm allowing myself to take a step back and take part in these things and have a little bit of fun and downtime with them, I'm noticing my work is better. I'm noticing my attention span is better. I'm noticing I am more aligned with my morals and living, as silly as it sounds, a better life because I'm not as stressed out all the time because I'm allowing myself to take that step back and build this thing. It's therapeutic, it's good for your cognitive capabilities, and it really just addresses and lets that internal voice know it's okay to still like to do some childish things. And on top of that, another thing that I kind of buried away and was afraid to show was some of my taste in music. Music is big to me. It's gotten me through a lot of tough periods in life, and it is a part of who I am. I grew up around it. I listened to typical dad rock when I was growing up with my dad, like AC/DC, Metallica, all that type of stuff. And I was exposed to tons and tons of varieties of music when I was growing up. But I had one band in particular that I really, really liked, and it's a band called Him, Him. They're a Finnish rock band. Um, they are their own genre pretty much. They identify in a sense of love metal. And a lot of their music has to do with relationships and love and, it's difficult, but it's worth it, that type of stuff. It's pretty emo, honestly. But they kick ass. They have such a raw, grungy feeling and power behind them, and they are my absolute favorite. So, as I got older, people kind of like made fun of me for still liking them. They thought it was, for lack of a better term, I'm not trying to be mean, but people would say it was gay that I liked them and still listened to them. And for a while, I let that affect me. I was afraid to just, talk about it or show that I liked it. And eventually I decided that was foolish and that was stupid. And I ended up getting their logo tattooed on my body because it means a lot to me. It's pretty sentimental for personal reasons. And I bought a vinyl record player to kind of tap into that nostalgic feeling. And I started buying, this is just one of them, one of my favorites, started buying their vinyls to just play and have around the house and have their music basically resonate throughout the rooms as I'm cleaning, relaxing, doing whatever. And when I listen to certain songs by this group, it takes me back to places in my childhood when I would listen to this band with my dad. Like driving in the car, him taking me to my music lessons. They were my first concert when I was like 6 or 7 years old with both of my parents. I still remember that night vividly. Uh, the band is no longer together anymore. They retired, all on good terms. So, I got to see their retirement and their farewell tour with my dad. So that was cool. But allowing myself to listen to these guys and just being open about it and having no shame, whether people think it's weird or not, allows me to just let that internal voice still have a place in my identity. I feel like a lot of people, when they grow up, feel like they need to get rid of that or hide it a lot. And if people judge you for it, like friends, family, significant others, excuse me, that is a shame. They shouldn't be judging you for it, and they should honestly be supporting and supportive of it. And you might want to take a look at whether that's somebody you want to keep in your life, if they criticize you or put you down for, partaking every now and then in something that makes you you, and taking part in something that's deeply rooted in who you are. So, moral of the story is don't ignore that little inner voice. Don't be afraid to partake in the things that you enjoyed as a kid, as an adult, because it'll keep you youthful. It'll keep you in check. It'll keep you in tune. It'll keep your spirit aligned. And as a result, everything around you will start to get better. Your friendships, because you'll learn how to love yourself and be supportive of your friends. You'll figure out who really is your friend or not, based on their judgment by what you like or what you don't like. Your relationships will get better because you, again, are showing yourself that you can love yourself, all parts of you. And when you start to love yourself and you're confident in who you are as a person, everything else starts to change too, like your work ethic, your drive, your performance, your motivation, your energy levels. You just naturally start to feel better and your output becomes more and more and more. When you start to ignore that little voice inside you, you become a different person that you're not really happy with. When you're not happy and when you don't love yourself, it's pretty dang difficult to do that with other people, like your friends, family, or relationships. And eventually it just sucks the life out of you and everything starts to suffer. It's like having a plant. Plants need water from the time they're a seedling till the time they crumble up and die. You have things deep rooted in your childhood that you enjoyed, that you should address and notice and recognize as you get older and partake in them as much as you can within reason. And hopefully one day, if you have your own kids, share that with them too, so the cycle continues. And obviously that's for the positive things. The negative things like traumas or things like that, you do need to recognize them and give yourself grace with what exists inside of you, but recognize that it's not okay to react certain ways, but recognize that it's there and let that inner voice know that you're there for it and it's okay to feel that way, but you also ultimately control how you react to things. So if you've made it this far, I hope something resonates with you in that video. I really appreciate you watching. If you feel like it, please drop a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel so hopefully one day we can get this message out to everybody. It is a new channel. It would mean the world to me. So thank you for watching.